I, C. Dinesh Jain, on behalf of Professional Skill Enrichment Committee of ICAI, welcome all the participants in today's webcast from number to narratives empowering chartered accountant with Google Sheet for actionable insight. I welcome today's resource person, C. Rahul Luthra from Calcutta and other present over here. Welcome you all. Now, I
Thank
introduce
you, sir.
today's speaker. Our today's speaker, Rahul Okaji, is a very true veteran in the digital marketing and finance space. With a career spanning over 2 decades since embarking on his journey in 2004, he has established himself as trusted advisor and consultant, shaping successful digital strategies for diverse clients. A chartered accountant and a chartered financial analyst by education, Rahul is currently the marketing head at InVisions, one of the India's first remotely active digital marketing agency. His impressive portfolio includes collaboration with renowned institutions such as University of Success and esteemed IIMs, impactful organizations like Lions Club International, and even iconic figures like MS Dhoni. Rahul's expertise extend across various aspects of digital marketing, enabling him to deliver comprehensive and impactful solutions. Once again, I welcome our speaker, C. Rahulji. Over to you, Rahulji, for your
Thank you.
kind of on Google Sheet.
Thank you, Dinesh, ji, for the wonderful introduction, sir. Absolute pleasure connecting with you. Thank you to the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, especially Sambit sir, for inviting me for today's session. And thank you everyone for taking time out on Thursday morning, a busy Thursday morning, and yet you are joining the session from wherever you are across India and taking this step to uh, sort of empowering yourself and how you can on how we can use the latest cloud technologies to work collaboratively such that our work gets done quicker, faster, and in a more efficient manner. Um, uh, Sir Dinesh, sir, sir, I'll share one anecdote with you. So at the turn of the century, I was around, I think I was in class 11, 12 or something. And somehow in my mind, I always had this idea that I want to become a chartered accountant. Now, at the turn of the century, software like Tally, Easy, all of these things got introduced, and bookkeeping became very easy. People started adopting technology, per to say, to manage books and all. But a lot of my friends and families around me told me, "Boss, what will you do now after doing, by doing CA? Because now these softwares have come. Who will hire CAs?" But 25 years down the line, are we more relevant or less relevant? I'm sure all of us agree that 25 years down the line, we are more relevant in spite of technology, taking away some of the activities that we as chartered accountants used to do 25 years or beyond earlier, right? Same with today's day and age. AI is going to come. In fact, AI has come. Technology, and it's not just AI, it's also the cloud computing. It's also, the connectivity of internet, the India stack, as they say. So technology is again taking us to a different level altogether. And I'm sure as professionals, it's not like that our profession is going to become irrelevant 5 years down the line. In fact, it is going to become more and more relevant. Uh, However, one thing that we did was that we adopted technology. I'm not sure any chartered accountant in India, be it as senior as Dinesh ji, every one of us know computer. We are able to operate computer. But Dinesh ji, I'm talking about my time, not even your time. When we were growing up, there were no computers, but we picked it up, right? Similarly, all of us will also pick up how to use AI, how to use collaborative tools to work efficiently, and this is one such session. Hopefully, I'll be able to share some things that I have been implementing in my day-to-day activity. I've been using for the last 7, 8 years. These are the things that people in the IT industry, people in uh, industries which require remote working or require remote coordination with clients who are based out of US, UK, they have been using it. So it's time for us as chartered accountants, as finance professionals to also start using this thing. And I'll share some of my experiences or some of the things that I do on a day-to-day basis for myself and how we can collaboratively work and get things done faster, quicker, and like I said, in a more efficient and error-free manner. So, time permitting, I will cover four things today. Of course, I'll cover Google Sheets. I'll cover something called Google Sites. Um, I will also cover something called Google Looker Studio. And if time permits, we'll look at the Google Workspace environment overall to figure out how we can work collaboratively with just, not just our team, but also with our clients and make sure that our clients um, sort of feel happy when they are dealing with us, that yes, they are dealing with someone um, who's very advanced, right? So sorry. Okay. So let's start with today's session. I've created a small PPT, and I will also be referencing to some Excel resources during my session. I will make these resources available to the committee so the committee can distribute it, um, to all the participants, and they will be able to, use it. As of now, if you don't understand anything in the session, please don't be scared or afraid about it. You will get, of course, recording of this session. You will get access to the Excel sheet. Plus, you will all there are numerous tools available, videos and resources available through which you can resolve these issues. Okay? So let's start with this session. Give me 1 minute, please. So I hope everyone is able to see my screen. Okay, so start off with advanced Google Sheets for the modern chartered accountant. Now, by the way, this PPT, I hope you're liking the PPT so far, whatever you have in front of you. This PPT I've made using Google Slides. Right? Google Slides is an exact replica of Google of PowerPoint presentation PPTs. Now, the biggest advantage of this is I made this PPT on a separate computer. Right? I was not using this computer when I made this PPT. So I was using a separate computer while I made this PPT, and now I'm accessing it from a totally different PPT, to totally different system, and I don't need to carry it in a pen drive. It's there in my cloud. All I need to do is I need to log into my Gmail account, and I can access it from anywhere. So, some of the things that we are going to cover today is why moving on the cloud is no longer a option, that whether I should have a cloud or not. It's a necessity for a modern chartered accountant. Right? How many times have we come across scenarios where our clients have requested us for a file, or we have requested for a file from our team members, and they've said, sir, आज तो ऑफिस से निकल गए, जब कल आएंगे तब देंगे. Now imagine if that कल is after 3 days. What if it's a Friday evening and the office is closed for Saturday and Sunday, and this is something very urgent. Now, all of us have sort of moved to some kind of a server, but now opening that server and making that server accessible to anyone across the globe is actually a security challenge, right? If we open up our office server to be accessible from external IPs, so even there you have a lot of problem because you will have to buy an IP so that you can give specific permission to an IP and all that stuff for accessing and all. But with cloud, you don't have to worry about the security aspect, and your things are available to you 24 into 7. I upload something on my cloud network, maybe a Dropbox or a Google Drive. I upload that on my drive, and it syncs up, and so much so that within the next moment I can access it from my mobile phone as well. So I'm on the go. You also become sort of computer agnostic. You are not dependent on your system. You can access any system, and you can access your file, do your work. So it becomes very easy for you to work from anywhere. Suppose you're traveling or you want to work out of a cafe, and see, this is what youngsters do, right? When we think that how they are working out of cafe, it's primarily because of that. All the work is on the cloud. So having a cloud for our office is no longer an option. It's a necessity. It's exactly like having a tally. We don't think about we don't think twice whether we want to have a bookkeeping software or not. It is a no-brainer. It's a given. Same with cloud. Uh, why Google Sheets? Right. So, there are multiple versions of Excel that we work with, especially when we are preparing balance sheets or financial statements for our clients, especially when we are doing large assignments, due diligence, uh, you know including all the insolvency professionals. You have to create multiple iterations of the same file, and that becomes very difficult to track. I, for example, if I have to retrieve the balance sheets that I have given to my client, I get myself confused at times that which was the final one, right? Because everyone has got final written on it, and then maybe dates. But then I don't know which date is the latest date. So that's a very big problem. That's the first major problem. The second major problem of having multiple versions is the occupancy of space. Now there is one file, but there are four iterations of the same file. So that one file is occupying the space of five files, right? Of course, it creates confusion, but it also occupies unnecessary space. So that problem of maintaining different versions of Excel is a major problem with Excel, right? Uh, of course, you run the risk if you are not working with the right file. You run the risk of working on an outdated file, and then you realize that oh no, you worked on an old file, and then you'll have to redo your work or things like that. And more importantly, it is impossible to collaborate on a real-time basis. I can't have five people working on one Excel book parallelly, right? But you can do that with Google Sheets, right? So these are some problems with Excel, but with Google Sheets, you actually can have. Best thing about Google Sheets is the collaboration. You can have five people working on the same parallel Google Sheets at the same time, or at different times, and you don't have to worry about the version control. There is, of course, an ultimate or audit trail, and you can access it from anywhere. Like I said, you just need access to your Google Drive. You just need to log into your Google Drive from any system. Of course, if it's a public system, don't forget to log out. Otherwise, people will still have access to your file. So once you log out, you don't have to worry about it, but you can access it from anywhere. And seamless integration. Google Sheets can very well integrate with, of course, Google Slides. We will discuss about Google Looker Studio. We will discuss about Google Sites and many other. You can just simply give links to people and they can embed it. Fetching data from a Google Sheet to any program is actually very, very easy. And it's completely free, especially with your Gmail account. Of course, if you are using a corporate account or a Google paid workspace, you'll have to pay. But if you are using anything at the rate gmail.com, it's all free for you, right? And it's the full capacity that is available for you. Let me show you an example of some of the things that we discussed. So this is one sheet that I had created. I hope my sheet is visible. Yeah. So this is one sheet that I had created for myself to take a similar session at EIRC a couple of weeks back. Now, one of the things that I mentioned that you can have multiple people working on it. So all you need to do is just click on this share button and you can invite people. You can invite people to edit it, right? So for example, I can have other people in my organization. I can just simply click as editor and I can send them the invite. And they'll get a notification that you've been invited. They'll be able to log in and send that. That's the first thing. Second, if I just want people to see anyone with the link to see or comment, I also have that option. Right? So anyone, say for example, my clients, I don't know how many people my client is going to give it to. So I can just simply create a public URL with certain permissions. So I've got three permissions where anyone who's accessing the file with the link can only view. They will not be able to edit anything. Comment, maybe leave their comments and thoughts and observations. And last is, of course, editor. Generally, you don't want to give this option to anyone that anyone with the link should become an editor because then you will not be able to trace who made an edit. Right? It will be anonymous. So you don't want that. Highest that I am comfortable with, or I would recommend is commentator so that people can leave their comments with you. So say the client has got 15 people at their end. Now you of course can't invite all 15. Neither do you want to give them edit access. So you can very simply give them this publicly access. That's the first thing. Second, if you look at the versions, so look at this. This is the ultimate audit trail that I was mentioning. See, the first, I know when was the first file created. It was created first on 8th of July, and it was last edited on 9th of July. Right? I have also named this version first draft 9th July 2025. Now, any change that I make to this file will happen, but this version is now saved. Right now, within one file, I can have multiple versions. So if I've sent a file, sent a balance sheet to my client or a financial statement to my client, I can say financial statement dated 17th July 2025. Now, if you have sent again after 4 days, you can say financial statement 21st July 2025. So you can name your version. So within the same file, you can have multiple versions. You don't have to worry about it. And this version can always be restored, right? I can always go here. I can look at all the changes that have been made and I can restore this version. If any changes have been done post, let's say someone has deleted the file, you can very well restore it. Someone has made changes here, someone has edited things, you can very well restore it. Now look at this. If I go on 8th of July, I know who has made what change. So look at this 8th of July. Of course, since this file is only shared with me, I can see that okay, I have made a change. In fact, if you scroll, so see, this is the change that I've been made. I've added this column. This has been highlighted in green. So you can very well see who among your collaborators have made what change and on what date. Now, if someone has made a mistake, you can either identify that who has made a mistake and you can help them rectify it, or you can also identify that okay, after a certain point, a mistake has happened and you want to go back to that particular version. You can very well select just from here. You can select this restore this version, or you also have this option here, restore this version. So this way, you are able to retrieve any old data that you have, and you can very well continue working from there. So these are the two biggest advantages of a Google Sheet over an Excel. That and again, these are not just Google Sheet, but these are cloud advantages that you can work collaboratively. There are multiple versions within the same file, so you don't have to worry about multiple files. And you have a very detailed audit trail, so that where you are able to figure out who has made what changes. Right? I hope that's making sense so far, so good. So, what are we going to cover in the next few not exactly the next 1 hour, but what are the things that we're going to cover next? So we will figure out data handling when we are importing data to Google Sheets and all. What kind of data error handling is available in Google Sheets? We can also have linking live data, so linking one sheet to another sheet, so that if one sheet gets updated, the other sheet automatically gets updated. Data cleansing, of course. Data integrity, making sure that there are error-proof data that comes to your within your Google Sheet, and of course, accurate and how do you automate the entire process so that everything is error-proof. Right? So much so that I will share some prompts with you that with just one prompt, or rather with just one formula, you can create an entire trial balance. You can create an entire balance sheet, financial, balance sheet and P&L with just one formula on Google Sheets. Now, of course, when we think about Google Sheets, we think that Google Sheet is not as advanced and as an Excel sheet, right? Uh, that's not the case right now. This was the case maybe 7 years back, 8 years back. At that time, Excel was far more advanced than the Google Sheets. But of course, it's Google, right? So they have, of course, put in all their might, and now Google Sheets is as good as Excel, if not better. Right? I think apart from stuff like macros, Google Sheet supports everything else that you are looking at. You have got your VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, all those things that are there, that are all available in Google Sheets as well. And these are some of the things that we are going to discuss right now in the presentation. In fact, in certain aspects, it is far more advanced. Like I said, there are certain formulas that you can use, and through that formula, you can very well, simply create a trial balance and all the things that is there for you. Data visualization. You can use Google Lookups Studio to create visually appealing dashboards, which can be updated in real time. So all these things are available on Google Sheets. In terms of capability, uh, advanced formulas, advanced linking, everything is available in Google Sheets, right? Um, like I said, I think apart from macros, and I'm not sure even macros is supported in Google Sheets or not, but apart from macros, everything else is there in Google Sheets, right? So here are some data sets that I have prepared for you in advance so that you can practice with these data sets. So these are some CSV files. And there are some key CSV files that you can, of course, use to practice. Um, I will share this entire folder with the committee, and the committee can circulate, like I can circulate around. Now, if you open a new sheets.google.com, there are, of course, lots of templates that are available for you that you can use pre-made templates from here itself. Right? Now, if I use a blank template, let's say test this sheet 17, 25. Now, I want to import data from a particular CSV file. Now, that can be done very, very easily, right? So I can import, by the way, just if you have a quick look at the sheets, of course, you have got your, your rows and columns here. You have got various other options, what you see, what you get over here. Lots of things that are there. Similar, quite similar to what you get in Excel. There are certain things that are not available here as of now, which are available in Excel. So, for example, advanced sorting. So, in Excel, you can sort as per cell color. Those things are still not available in Google Sheets, but that will come here pretty soon. I'm hoping that. Now, within files, you've got various options. You can create a new spreadsheet from here itself. You can open an existing one. You can make a copy of the sheet. You can share it with people. You can email it as an attachment. You can download it. There are various options that are available for you to download, and lots of other things. Similarly, you've got your edit. You've got your view. So similar to what we have freeze. A freeze option is here as well. I can group columns together, right? Uh, Insert. I can of course insert my cell, rows, columns, everything. I can also insert chart, pivot table. So pivot table is available here. Functions. There are lots of advanced functions that are available. Some of the things that we are going to discuss today, not all of it, but as you can see, there are lots and lots of available functions that are available for you. Right. So it's not like you will be rendered helpless here. Plus, you of course have the option of AI chatbots, your likes of ChatGPTs and Google Gemini's and all that, to which you can generate more and more functions that are not present there. Uh, Very interesting thing which we are going to discuss is checkbox and drop downs. So these are the things that we can also discuss. And there are of course smart chips as well. So you have rating, all these things that are available. I'll show you some examples of it as well. These are now you are in an advanced territory. This is something that even Excel does not even support. You've got your format, you can key in numbers. It also supports Indian rupees and all that stuff. So, you've got conditional formatting, alternate colors. All of these things are available here. Data, you've got your sort options. So you can sort as of now, you can sort only as per character. There is no sorting, like I said, available based on cell color. But you have got your advanced filter, you've got your filter view. All of these things are available here. Right? Very, very interesting. You can link it to a Google form. So suppose if you want to collect data, you can create a form and you can link it to an Excel sheet, to a Google sheet. So that form can be circulated around very easily, and you can very simply access the Google sheet and you'll see what are the data that has been filled out here. Then there are many extensions available. I'm using some of the extensions here. Oh, by the way, macro is also easier. So now Google Sheet is also supporting macros. It's great. So there are some tools that I have been using for myself, for my personal work. And of course, anything that you need, you can go on this training tab, and through this, you'll be able to access huge library of information related to Google Sheets. Now, let me import my data here. Sir, I hope, Dineshji, I hope I'm not very fast. I'm going in, okay? Or not too slow, in fact.
G.
Okay, sir, thank you. So once I click on import, so look at this, I've got multiple options. I can import stuff from my drive. I can also upload. So if there are files in my desktop, I can also upload them. And this is very interesting, shared with me. All the files that are shared with me. So a client has got a file at their end. They have shared it with me. So even that I can very simply import from here. As of now, let me go to recent. This is the sample data that I want to dump in here. Click on sample GL dump. It's a file name. That's a sample file that I've created. Now, there are multiple options that you have. So you either create a new spreadsheet. So it will be a new Excel book altogether, or I can insert it within this Excel sheet, Google Sheet, but in a new sheet. And I can replace the existing spreadsheet, and all these options are available. Separator type, because it's a CSV file. So either I can define manually or it can detect automatically. Of course, you can choose detect automatically. And I'll select this option, insert in new sheet, right? So see, this has got imported very easily. Now, look at this, convert to table. So the moment I convert this to table, we saw one thing under insert is the smart chips. So these are the smart chips, and it has taken place automatically, right? So look at this, it has automatically converted this into drop downs. So which branch? I don't have to type it out, because if I'm typing it out, my Mumbai can be of three different types. In one, I'll have M in capital, other I'll have M in small, maybe some spelling mistakes, some space after or before. But once you do the drop down, it'll all be uniform, right? Similarly, see, it has converted this into a you know um, numbers, and I can also change it if I wish to. I can change this if I wish to. That this is not number, maybe this is percentages or something like that. And if I want to apply currency here, all I need to do is I'm selecting these two columns, and very simply I'll just click on more formats, and see I've got Indian rupee option available. So once I click on this, okay, maybe it's smart chips and that's why it's not. You can't set number format for several type column. Okay, so I need to convert these into numbers first. But as of now, I don't need table as of now, because as this table is not going to serve my purpose, so I'm going to remove the table. But the point is that it can very well smartly convert any data into a table, right? So I've been able to import stuff very easily here. So let me move on. The first, data ingestion and cleansing at scale, right? So how you can very easily automatically pull live data from any source, and you can instantly clean up the messy imports that you have made from data like Tally or SAP. So there's a video that let's see, and I think that will be very useful for us. There is no sound in the video; it's just music. So I'm not playing the music of the video. So there's this function called import range. So you can very well import data from one sheet to another, and it gets updated uh, in real time. So if one sheet is updated, you don't have to go and click and refresh or update data or anything like that. It gets updated automatically. See, this is how simply it has got imported. Let us try for us as well. So if I create a new sheet, uh, if we create a new sheet, and I want to input data from here, so I'll copy this sheet and I want it from A1 to G24. That's my data range, right? So URL is of course the URL that I've copy pasted, and data range will be from A1 to G24 to G24. Right? Now let me use the formula import range. Hopefully it works. So this is the URL I've given A1 to G24. Let me in fact mention, because it is selecting this, if ah, I think I made an error here. I should have selected something else. But I hope you get an idea. There's a problem at my end, not the sheet's end. I think I'm adding the formula wrong. The range string, I think I'm adding the range string. Acha, I need to name the sheet as well. Okay. So the sheet name is GL databump. Let me copy this. Sample data dump A1 to G24. Making some error again. But that's my mistake. Yeah, guys, please forgive me. I think I need to give some permissions here, which I'm not doing right now, because you see the URL that is showing here, the format of the URL that is showing here, and the format of URL that I am getting here, they're totally different, right? So I think it is some issue at my end only. But I hope you guys get the sort of idea that you know how you can import data live. Now the beauty of this is, like I said, that if you make any change here, if you make any change to the data here, it will automatically get reflected in the other Excel sheet as well. So moving on to the next. I hope my screen is visible properly. So I have, of course, this is the format of a workshop. So I'm again, this is something that you can do very well easily. Um, you'll see an error for the first time. You'll have to click allow access. Okay, so this is something that I need to do. So by following these very simple steps, you'll be able to do it. Now, how to clean that data, right? So many a times you will get unwanted data, right? You will get extra spaces before and after, right? So you will get your data in this format, the GSTN, GSTIN, and then a colon and space, similarly with PAN, but you don't want it in this format. So you want to delimit it. Now, there are, of course, various kinds of delimitations that are available for you. You can trim, so you can remove the leading and trailing spaces. So if there are extra spaces before and after the data, that gets cleaned up automatically just by using the term trim, right? You can split. So you can split it based on the delimiter. Breaks text into multiple columns, perfect for separating GSTI from party, right? So in this case, you'll have to define your delimiter as maybe the space or the semicolon. Text join, so you can also join multiple data together, right? But it's an exact reverse of split. Again, in this one, I would have wanted you to practice it, but as of now, let's do this in this sheet. Yeah. So in this sheet, there is this particular column which has got narration. And this within this narration, not all of the narrations, but in some of the narrations, we have used hyphen as the separator for invoice numbers, right? So we can very well use this formula split, and through this formula we can say I split, right? Now this is my data, and my delimiter is hyphen. So see, I've got two data. I've got now two data points. First is the first part and the second part. So I've been able to extract bill number very easily from here. Now, of course, not every one of them have got bill number, so I can remove all the other ones that I don't want. But I'm able to extract the bill number very easily from. Well, okay, this is not getting deleted. What I can do is I can very simply, I can just simply very simply hide this column. I can clean all of these. If I don't want, I can very simply remove it from here and things like that. Getting fetched automatically, but I can remove the data from here altogether. So I've been able to extract the invoice number from narration very easily. And of course, so the formula is split, and of course, we'll have to identify your delimiter here. Data integrity and dynamic reference. Right? So build trust into your own numbers, by error proofing the inputs. So one of the biggest problems that we just discussed, for example, is that Mumbai can have multiple spellings, right? Or different capitalizations. So how do you make sure that your data is uh, error free and it is in the desired format? Similarly, for example, how do we ensure that there are no errors in GST and at least in terms of typing out and checking whether it is right or wrong, right? We are not, of course, checking whether the GST itself is right or wrong, but whether it's in the right format. So, for example, GST, 15 is the standard characters that are there in any GST. But if I've used 14, it should return an error that here the data is wrong. Similarly, if I'm using 16, then I know that the data is wrong. Phone numbers, classic example. You don't have 12 digit or 8 digit. So how do you validate that okay, 10 digits have been entered? So these are some of the options that you have through which you can make it very well. Now, like I said, there are various formulas that you can create. And this is one such formula, which is a very good formula. And I can do a reject match. So I can say that, okay, whether it is in this format or not, the data in A1, are they in this format or not? Right? So if they're not, it will return an error. And if they are, it will simply say, I think, yes or correct or something like that. It will say that. So how do I convert, first and foremost, how do I convert my data into a drop down? So for example, this ledger names I would want to have uniform across all the because these are ledger names, it can't be different. And I don't want salaries and wages to become salaries and bonuses, right? So all I do is I will either select this I'll select the entire data that I want to have multiple choice or options from. I can right click on this. I can simply select drop down. See, the moment I select drop down, it has converted into options for me to choose from, right? So it can either be cash in hand or printing and stationery. Now, imagine this, there will be no spelling error for printing and stationery, right? Salaries and wages will be salaries and wages everywhere and not bonus and salaries or something like that. So I have been able to create a uniform my data, right? So this way people will just have to select it from top down and they don't have to type it out. A, it saves time, B, it's of course error free. I can also change the color. So by changing the color, it is becoming visually very distinctive and it becomes easy for me to identify these. So if I change the color, see, I'm able to identify these very easily. So visually also, it is aiding me to do stuff faster, quicker, and in an error-free format, right? So I've been able to change the color and things like that. Now, there are multiple other options that I have. I can just simply click on this icon. Look at this, allow multiple selections. What if this is not ledger? What if this is maybe task assigned to someone? So you can have one task which is assigned to maybe 3 people in your team. So if I do this multiple selections, I can have multiple things added to it, multiple choices added to it. So I can have say team member one, team member two. I've assigned this task to both the persons, right? So I can do that. Of course, I can add more items if I wish to, or I can delete certain items if I wish to. So all these options are available for me. I can just apply to all, or just to this instance, whatever I can just get it out. Cool. So that was one thing. Now let's watch this video to understand the RegEx maths. RegEx maths.
Welcome to Module 4, Data Validation. Now, this is...
Dinesh, I hope you're getting the volume from the sound from the video.
Yes, sound is perfect.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
This is one of my favorite things to do inside of a spreadsheet. This is where you've got a little thing that you click in the cell, like a pill-shaped thing, or maybe just a down arrow. And when you click it, a drop-down list appears, and then you can select one of those values. Well, we're going to show you how to put that in our spreadsheet, and this is going to make this a lot more functional. We're going to practically use this for the categories and payment methods. We've got these over here. It's one of the first things we created, but we haven't done anything with them yet. Well, we're about to. We're going to pull them over here into our budget table. There are a few different ways to create data validation drop-down lists. The first and the classic way is in the data menu, select data validation, and this is going to pop up some data validation rules here. When we click add rule, it's going to add a rule, and actually I'm going to bring it over here and add a rule to M2 first before I show you the table options. If you're just in a regular range outside of one of our created tables, then it's going to say, hey, apply to range, and we can say, we can modify this.
So this is similar to the drop down that we just saw. So maybe I can skip a little bit of the video. And jumping 5 minutes into the video, of course, you will get a link to this video through the presentation.
Our payment methods column. Let's select drop down after right clicking one of the cells here. It's going to pop up this same validation rule. We want to drop down from a range. We want to select that range from our categories table. And let me show you another way to do this. Because this categories table is a table, we can actually enter categories or equal categories, bracket payment methods, which is the name of the column C that we want. And that's going to pull in all of our options in payment methods. And it will add another card. It will add cards not in real time in this menu, but if I go back here to the budget where I've put the drop down list, it will add anything that I add to that payment methods table column over here into our payment methods column of the budget that we're using. The reason you might want to use this table reference instead of just selecting a set list of cells is if we ever for some reason had even more payment methods down here all the way to yet another card and extended that table down past the original range, well, that's no problem because we're dynamically still selecting that inside of our drop-down validation rules. So there it is, yet another card still in there. Okay, now in the next video, we're going to start piecing these.
So, there you go. That's the advantage of working in this cloud.
Things together using conditional statements to make the budget actually do what a budget is supposed to do. So if I got a paycheck, I don't need to subtract that to my balance.
Yeah. So this is the advantage of working in a cloud environment because you just saw that he has linked that that drop-down data to an entire table. So whenever that table gets updated, immediately it is getting updated here, right? Not even a fraction of a second. So that's one of the biggest advantage of using or working in a cloud environment. Now imagine if we have a ledger master sheet, So this drop down of ledger names can be fetched rather than dynamically. It can be fetched automatically from that ledger master sheet, and you need to update it only there. You don't need to update it here. Now, the biggest advantage of this is, of course, there's something called fire and forget. So you just build once and then you forget about it. You don't have to worry about, okay, where are the various places where I need to go and update it. So you just build it once, you fire, and you forget. So just link it dynamically, not statically, but you link it dynamically, and it will get just updated at one place, and it will get updated automatically everywhere.
Welcome to Module 4, Data Validation. Now, this is...
All right, so the RegEx match, GST and formula, RegEx match. So this is the formula that we have here, but let's watch a quick video. It's not a very long video, a quick video as to how RegEx match works.
Hello guys, in this video, I'll show you how to use the regex match function in Google Sheets. This function comes under the category of regular expression functions, more commonly known as regex functions. Customized searching is necessary to perform niche searches while working on a lot of data. To achieve that, we use regular expressions. There are mainly three regex formulas in Google Sheets that you can use: regex match, regex extract, and regex replace. These names are self-explanatory as they perform match, extract, and replace respectively. You can check the regex rules and syntax in our blog post. I'll leave the link in the description. We'll be covering the regex match function in this video. So let's understand how this function works using an example. The regex match function returns true if it matches the pattern you provide anywhere in the text and false if there are no matches. For example, suppose we have this dataset of some wars in the last century where each row has a mix of text and numbers. Let's create a simple regex match to test whether a cell contains a year or not. So in cell B3, we'll add this formula. Then we'll drag this formula down to other cells. As you can see now, the formula returns true for every cell with at least one number and false if there are no numbers. Also, the pattern matches a single number. It doesn't care what else might be in the cell. For example, it returns true for a meaningless string with numbers in it, like in cell A11, which is probably not the results you were looking for. To solve this problem, we'll use word boundary and quantifier. Word boundaries are denoted by \b before and after the primary expressions. This means it marks a boundary between a word character and a non-word character. So it will match the digits up to 4 and then look for a boundary. A fifth digit or letter will break the match, but space won't because it defines a boundary. Quantifier is denoted by n under curly brackets where n is a number. So if we use regex match A3 0 to 9 and the quantifier with 4 in it, it means we match precisely 4 digits. So our final formula for this use case should be this. And this will only show true only if the cell has a 4-digit year in it. I hope you liked our first video on the topic regex functions. Hit like and subscribe because
Similarly, using this same formula that you are seeing here, you can actually validate GSTN, whether a GSTN is right or not, using the same formula, right? And it will give you a true or a false option. I think we will have to import demo data in our sheet, and there we will have to do this. Let's try and import this. So insert in a new sheet. Okay, I don't have a GSTN number per se to validate, right? But you have this formula. Please try it out at your end once you get this spreadsheet, and you'll be able to figure out whether it is equally doable or not. Similarly, you can do it. You can have the same digit max for PAN. You can have it for, I don't know, phone numbers, um, PIN codes, all those things.
will be
Okay, so again, this is an activity for you to do. Please do that. This is a regex match formula for PAN. Right? And this is what it is. You just need to build it once. Once you build this formula, or you have a repository of formulas, and you just need to build it once. And once you have built it, it will automatically, you don't have to do it again. You can just automate things, and things will happen automatically on their own, or with very little time. So this is another very interesting function for Google Sheets. Is generally what we do is we go for this range, right? From D2 to D5000 or something like that. So if we have to select data from a particular column, we have to go for the range. But in Google Sheets, you don't have to go for the range. You can just simply name give the name of the column. And by giving the name of the column, you can exactly fetch data from there. So you don't have to worry about the limit or length or anything like that. So this is one very big advantage, because then you don't have to remember TDS table was in which column, whether it was column D, column E, column F, and you don't have to go and check it again and again, right? All you need to do is you need to, of course, remember that it is TDS table. So you can just simply write sum of the total debits or total TDS payable and things like that. And it becomes very easy, and it will fetch all the data for you. Right? Of course, for that, you will have to convert it into a table first. So, of course, you have got clarity and you have auditability, and it becomes very easy for you to work with it. So, formulas like this become self-explanatory. So, total income minus total expense. So, you'll be able to implement formulas like this without having to worry about whether I have to do A1 to A50 minus C1 to C30 or something like that. So we don't have to do that. We can very well do this just by using names. So your formulas are no longer fragile and they are readable. You don't have an unreadable. You don't have to think about, okay, what does D2 and D50 refer to? So that is one very big advantage of working in Google Sheets. So key takeaways. You will now, of course, link to data, and you can get live, real-time updates. You have a formula-based toolkit that very instantly cleans your data, right? You can be sure about the accuracy of the data by checking, by validating it, including something as advanced as PAN and GST. And of course, you can have unbreakable models, financial models that we can create with through number ranges. So it's using these formulas itself that you can actually create a trial balance, a balance sheet, or a P&L just by very simply just by using formulas. So you don't have to create it manually. Right? So imagine this: if you can make one template like this for all of your clients, even if you say you are into valuation or you are into due diligence or you are into pure auditing. So you just have to create this once, and it can be implemented across all the tens or hundreds of clients that you have. The effort goes in just once. Right? Someone I was listening to one of these guys on YouTube, one of the very successful entrepreneurs from US, and they said that the hard work, everyone puts in hard work. There is no one in the world who, very few people don't put in a lot of effort, but a lot of people do. But not everyone gets reward in the same format. And why is that? So someone, say even a chaiwala is working, not our prime minister chaiwala, but a regular chaiwala is also working 7 to 8 hours, 10 hours a day. But his remuneration does not equal to that of someone who has a corporate job of 9 to 10. Right? The difference is huge. So of course, the difference is in the value that they bring on the table. But at the same time, the difference is also where you put in the hard work. So whether you are putting in the hard work to do things, or you are putting in the hard work to set up processes and systems. So the moment you put in a sufficient amount of hard work in setting up processes and systems, things you will get uh, far more reward than what you will actually do by just doing the hard work in doing stuff. Right. So remember, it's not just about working hard, it is also about working smart. So by putting in effort in creating uh, these financial models for us just once, we will be able to implement it for any number of times at multiple places, and that will make things easier for you. And that's where your hard work will actually give you proper results. Quiz. Now, of course, I can't take quiz in this, so I will quickly run through the questions and I'll try and answer it myself. Um, So an audit team is on of three members, needs to work on a single large general general ledger scrutiny sheet simultaneously to meet a deadline. So the deadline is such that it requires us to work collaboratively. Each member is responsible for scrutinizing a different set of ledgers on the same side. Right? And generally, what we will do in as of now, we will split it into three equal rows, and we will create three separate Excel sheets, and we'll ask them to work on it. And then once they work on it, we will combine them and then send it over. But there are some errors that may remain, right? In this case, how can we use Google Sheets to accomplish this without creating any conflicting versions of the file? Right? Uh, Very simple answer: import range. So you can have three people working. So no, sorry, the answer is real-time collaboration, because on the same file, three people can work simultaneously. So the answer is actually C, real-time collaboration. Okay? You are building a master dashboard to track TDS compliance. The raw data of TDS detected is maintained by our client in a separate Google Sheet. To ensure your dashboard always reflects the latest figures of the client's file automatically, which functions will you use? Right? Then I gave away the answer in the earlier question. The answer is, of course, input change. So you can, of course, gain good input and the data will get automatically inputted. Beyond VLOOKUP, advanced lookup and matching. Replacing the fragile and limited VLOOKUP with the modern successor XLOOKUP, right? And in fact, we will also look at something which is far more advanced than XLOOKUP. So what's the familiar pain with VLOOKUP? Yeah. The advantages, of course, easy to use. We have been using it for n number of years now, and it's widely known. And most of the CAs today know how to use VLOOKUP. But the cons, it can't look left. right? Fragile. Once you insert a particular column or something, it requires you to change the formula. You know, when it comes to large data, of course, there are times when it takes a little bit of time, and then the error handling. So if there is some error which occurs, you are on your own to figure out what's right or what's wrong. Okay? So the modern successor.
In this video, we're going to
So let's look at the modern successor. By the way, all the videos that I'm playing here, and none of them are mine. I don't claim the copyright for it as well. All of them are from the respective content creators, and I request you to please follow them for their respective channels. All of these published very interesting and very useful, um, you know, work, videos as far as Google Sheets or Google Workspace, anything related to modern tech is concerned. So let's watch this video. It's a 4-minute video, but it will give us a very good idea. Something better than VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP, which is index match. So let's watch this video.
In this video, we're going to cover the Google Sheets lookup functions XLOOKUP, index match, and VLOOKUP. And essentially what we want to do in a lookup is take transaction data and match it to master data, because you don't want to repeat your master data on every row. But what we need is a common field, and in this case, it's the ID. So I'm going to use the ID field to look up company name, industry, and country from the master data. So the first formula we're going to use is the OG, and that's VLOOKUP. So what VLOOKUP does, it performs a vertical lookup between two data sets. And what I do here is I put in my ID I'm looking up. I then will set a range that has to start with the column that we're looking up. We're going to press F4 just to make that range fixed so we can pull it down. We're going to look up the second row in here, which is industry, and then we're going to put in false, which just means that we're looking for an exact match. And then my industry is looked up and I can drag that down. So because we've fixed everything, we can just pull that across and then we can look up country as well. So what I need to do here is I need to just change what I'm looking up to C3. Should have fixed that as well. And then I'm looking up the third column here, which is country, and I pull that down. Where the VLOOKUP falls down is that you can't look to the left. So if I put my entire range as including the company name as well and try to look that up, it doesn't work. So if I go in here, I'm going to look up C3. I'm going to look that up between B22 and E27. I'm looking for the first row here, which would be company name. And when I put that in, I'm going to get a big fat NA. Now Sheets has previewed a solution for this using XLOOKUP, but first I'll show you how to fix this in VLOOKUP if you want to fix it in VLOOKUP. So what you do is you can change the company name to a cross. You can put that, move it from the first column to the last column, and then I can look this up. But I don't want to do that. I want to do it from how the data set's set up. So I can use another function called index match. So how the index match works is that you can match the index of a certain value within a range. So I'm matching C3 to C22 to 27, putting that as search range 1, and it's coming up as that is in position number 3. So that is the match, and what the index does is it can then use that match in order to pull the value. So if I just use index in its own, what index does is that I can look up a range and then input an index, and that will return where that index value is. So that's returning company name. So instead of putting 3 in there, I can make this dynamic by just putting match in here. So as you see, match looked up our value and it will return that index. So I just go into match here and I put the formula as before. I'm looking up C3, I'm looking up C3 within my range, and then index and match are going to return what I want it to return there. So this is more flexible than the VLOOKUP because you can look left to right and the ranges aren't tied to each other. So I'm looking for an index in one column and then that's giving me a match in the other column. I'm just doing a change here to make sure I look up marketing tools in here and then pull that down, and then I've matched everything in industry, and then I'm going to do the same for country and I've matched everything in country. The new best lookup tool is XLOOKUP, and I'll show you how easy this is compared to the other two. So with XLOOKUP, again, we're looking up the search key and we have a lookup range and a result range. So it's kind of like the index and match in one formula. So I'm looking up C3 again. The lookup range is going to be this ID column, pull it down. We'll make F4 to make it fixed. And then we're just looking up our results column, and that's all it is. And it's as simple as that. You can just pull this down, and the XLOOKUP with 3 inputs has fixed everything down. I'm just going to fix this for the other columns as well. I looked up industry instead of company name here, so I'm going to fix that, drag it down, drag industry down, and then do the same for country. Drag this across, look up my proper value, which is C3, and then look up my proper result, which is E22 to E27, and that's my XLOOKUP. Autofill that, and it's done. So I hope you found that useful, and that explained the 3 main lookup functions in Sheet. Follow for more. In this video, we're going to cover the Google
Sorry, good. So as we could see in the video index match or other, XLOOKUP and index match, they are both modern versions of, um, you know, sorry, they both are modern versions of VLOOKUP and advanced versions of VLOOKUP, right? So those who know of us who have been working with Excel, we know VLOOKUP has been around for a long time. So this is actually a new age updated version where you can look up uh, data to your left as well. And like I said, you can make it very easy. Instead of just using the ranges, you can also within this formula you can use the name of the table as well. So that way, name of the column as well. So that way, it becomes far more easier for you to work with. Of course, in that particular example, it did not work because we had the reference ranges and the actual data within the same Excel sheet. If it was in different Excel sheet, then the table name or the column name would have worked. But in this case, it will not work, of course. That's why we have to resort to using the ranges. Index match. I just can't think of various scenarios that it will help us. There are n number of scenarios where it can help a chartered accountant to do their work so quickly, so faster, without any error, right? So you guys are the master in your own business, in your own practice, and you can very well, once you're looking at these things, you can figure out what are the various applications of this index match that are there. So again, I know with just one video you will not be able to understand it. With just one video, you will not be able to figure out how it is done. But it is just an example to show you that this is, show you the various possibilities of what can be done on Google Sheets. Right? We did not learn Excel in just 1 2 hour uh, you know, session, right? We had to practice Excel, we had to make mistakes, and then we were able to figure out, okay, this is how it works, and we were able to then master Excel. Similarly, we will be able to do that in Google Sheets. But it's not very difficult because of the day and age in which we live. There are the chatbots, your GPTs of the world. They can help us to identify any problem that we have and to figure out how to solve that issue. Right? Hope you guys are enjoying so far so good, and I hope I'm neither too fast nor too slow, and whatever I'm saying is making sense to you guys. So of course, there is this exercise which is there. Again, I would urge everyone to please do this. You can find me on LinkedIn. Just look for my name, Rahul Rulka, and you will find a face similar to this. And please connect me on LinkedIn if you have any issues. While doing these activities, if you run into trouble, please ping me up on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to get back to you if you're facing any issues. My number is, of course, there with the institute as well. You can ask for my number, and you can also reach out to me. By the way, if I don't answer, please drop me a WhatsApp message and I'll call you back. The single most important function of Google Sheets is query, right? So this query, like I said, it can help you to build an entire trial balance um, from one Excel book or one Google Sheet. Right? It's so powerful. It allows you to filter, sort, group, aggregate, and pivot massive data sheets and data sets in single readable formula. And it also replaces, once you use dynamic array, it can help you to again, carry out complex activities with just one query, right? I'm not playing this video entirely. Um,
In
just
this video, we're going to cover
just show you a little bit brief about you know what how this thing works. Very simple. So see, summarizing data by group. I'm just showing you a very small part, and then I move on. Of course, you will have this video with you. Request you to please go through this in your own time.
which is B, C, and D. So very, very similar to SQL here. And now I have per dealer, company, and model the amount of Audi sold in price. And we can do count, min, max, and average in here.
Right. So you see, he has run just a simple query like this, and
Comma B, and then
basically
going to
the
group
data
by the
has
remaining.
there is data for car sales by car maker and and the model of the car. And by simply doing this, by simply running this query, he has been able to generate a detailed report. So there you go. So they have been able to create such a large report in with the help of just one query. Hmm. So again, the idea of this presentation is to show you the possibilities that are there with Google Sheets or the entire Google Workspace ecosystem. Again, this video is also there for you.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, मेरा नाम है श्याम कुमार और स्वागत है आपका अपने चैनल।
It's a long video, it's a 20-minute video, but I would request you to kindly watch this in your own time. So look at this. This is an activity. Again, you will be able to do it yourself once you have access to that sample data. So what is the query? Right. Query is that within this GL dump, you can select where are salaries and wages. Right. And it will give you a formula. You'll be able to summarize things. So the result is that you can instantly clean the report of all salary transactions. Say I don't want salary, so I just want to see what are the salary transactions within the entire data dump, or where are the rent, or where are perks and all those things within a large list of data. So I'll be able to do it very easily, and I won't be able to get just one simple data, but I can create an entire uh, you know data table as per my requirement. Array is again a very excellent formula type to use, where you can remove uh, error prone data and you can make it very easy. Your data will become, or your calculations will be independent of the data format, and you'll be able to get the right data even if the data gets updated or the sheet gets updated. So for example, you need to change the calculation. For example, GST rates. You can edit just in one place and it will automatically get updated in all the rows and all the columns. Okay. So there is a small
And how array
small part of the video that again we will watch.
formula works. I'll show you all of the possible examples, like 10 or more of those, in just a minute. But now, let's just look how to get started, and it's pretty straightforward. The syntax looks like this: array formula plus some calculations in parentheses. Think of array formula as a big umbrella covering all the cells you specify, applying the same kind of formula to each one automatically. Let's see it in action. Let's take a simple example where we want to multiply two columns of numbers to calculate totals. We have a product list where column B contains the quantity and column C the unit price. To calculate the total price for each item without having to drag and drop the formula down each row, we would use the array formula. And here's how you set it up in Google Sheets. To multiply these two columns and output the result in column E, you would enter the following formula in cell E3. Just like that. Google Sheet fills out the entire column E with the product of corresponding cells in column B and C. No dragging required, no filling down, and no room for drag errors. This method allows you to perform calculations over a range of cells, as you can see in the output on your screen right now. Each cell in column E now displays the total sales amount for each item, calculated automatically from each row's quantity of units sold and price. It's pretty slick, right? But this is just the beginning. With array formula, you can go far beyond the simple things here. Suppose more data arrives, and you need to expand your array formula to handle new entries dynamically. But instead of limiting your range to B11 and C11, as you can see on the screen right here, let's adjust it to cover entire columns. So we'll do it like this. Let's press enter, and we have a problem here. Expanding to full columns can introduce those zeros in the output cells, where there are no corresponding values in the columns B and C. This clutters your results with nulls or zeros, which might not be desirable for you. To ensure your data stays clean and your report accurate, especially when you're dealing with ranges that include empty cells, you can modify your array formula to ignore those blanks. Let's add an if statement here to check whether the value in column B exists. So if B3 to B is not blank, then we have the value over here. Otherwise, it's blank. Just once again, our if statement that checks if column B is not empty for a given row. If column B contains data, it performs the calculation of.
So again, possibilities, right? So because with array formula, you don't have to drag, drop, and things like that. You can implement. You can apply the same formula to n number of places, and you don't have to worry about it. But there are blank spaces, right? So if you would have applied that formula, you saw that all the zeros came even where the table or the column is empty. So the possibility is that you can address any issue that you are facing very easily with tools like array formula.
An array formula. Otherwise,
Okay. So let's calculate the GST rates. Please do this exercise if you can. Into an array formula. Of course, it is assuming that your GST rates are 18%, right? But even if it is something else calculated that, okay, I've got 5 heads, right? And for ledger head 1, my formula, my GST rate is 18. And for ledger head 2, my GST rate is 12. And for ledger head 3, my GST rate is 5. You can do that very easily. You can combine multiple formulas, and using array formula, you can do it because of this if scenarios. So if I to I, and if I is equal to this, then this. If I is equal to this, then this rate. You can do that very easily. Then key takeaways, of course, you've got your index match, which is an advanced version or a modern version of VLOOKUP. You can use query something similar to SQL, but very easy because it can be used in speaking languages, right? You don't really need to know technical coding. Literally, just by using, total expense, total income. You're using two words like this, you can create a query which is as advanced as SQL, and you can run advanced reports. Right? And then array formula gives you total complete control. You don't have to drag and drop things like that. And using array formulas and combining multiple formulas, you can run advanced reports. It's a quiz. You need a TDS. You need to add a TDS calculation column to a sheet with hundreds of transactions. The TDS rate is 10%. What is the most robust and maintainable method to apply this calculation to the entire column, ensuring it automatically applies to new rows? Right? I think answer for this should be array, right? answer for this is, so how do you apply the two new rows, making sure it does not break down automatically? So you can go for array formula. Moving on, next question. Sorry, so here is the Google Sheets guide. You can very simply go through this, and this QR code leads you to a library by Google, which has been created by Google as an advanced guide for Excel. There are lots of cheat sheets available, productivity guides, videos, lots of things that are there available to you, plus all the channels that I have here. You can follow these channels and you will get host of resources through which you can create advanced formula for yourself. Of course, you will not get exactly what you're looking for, because we CAs, of course, have got our own unique requirements, but you will be able to find stuff that is very useful, and you'll have to use a little bit of creativity, and you'll also have to use AI tools in order to ensure that you are, that you get the output that you are looking for. Now, all of us who enjoy this dish, it's called puchka in Calcutta. I think in Mumbai, it's called Pani Puri. In Maharashtra and Gujarat, it's called Pani Puri. And in North India, it's called Golgappe, if I'm right. So I don't know about the rest of the country. I'm sure it's true for every part of the country. So that once that once you've had that Golgappe and Pani Puri, you ask for something extra at the end. And there's a simple trend that in that extra there is nothing wrong. In the main Pani Puri or Puchka or Golgappe, you can have भैया नमक नहीं है, this is wrong, that is wrong, please improve it. But in that extra, no one says that, okay, this is wrong. Everyone enjoys the extra. So I'm also going to give you some extra pani puri puchka so that you enjoy and you take it with you. Data visualization. So we discussed about Google Looker Studio, right? Now Google Looker Studio is something which is a very advanced data visualization tool, something similar to Power BI, but not as complex, very easy to use, right? So Google Looker Studio is such that even I can use Google Looker Studio and create various kind of reports that I wish to. But so if someone like me can create it, I'm sure you guys can also do it. Now let's watch this video very quickly, which helps us to understand how we can combine Looker data and Google Sheets data to create data visualization. Now, of course, those of us who are into financial analysis, those of us who are into valuations, I think we use data visualization tools. But those of us who are into core auditing, imagine if we can create a simple data dashboard. Remember, build once and use it multiple times. Right? So if you can build one dashboard and you present it to your clients at the end of and your audit tenure, imagine the kind of value or the impression that you're creating or leaving with the client. Now, how many of us? So my friends from Calcutta always keep complaining, boss, audit में पैसा नहीं है. People don't want to pay us money, right? Clients are generally don't want to pay us money at times. Or suppose if you are working with a startup and then once a startup crosses a certain level, the chances are that they will go with the big fours, right? So they grew to a certain level, courtesy our help, but then once they achieve a certain status, they want to work with big fours and not with us. Why is that so? Because we don't put in enough effort to provide things like data visualization. So how many of us, for example, sit with our clients at the end of the audit, once the audit is complete, and sit down with them and tell them that, okay, these are the issues that I've identified with the business, with the balance sheet, and these are my suggestions as to how you can improve on it. It also represents an opportunity for us to upsell and cross-sell. So data visualization, just simply create one simple dashboard of various expenses, what expenses gone up, what has come down, things like that. And you can help your clients massively. Let's watch this quick video as to how you can use Looker Studio and connect it with the Google Sheets and how you can create data visualization. By the way, this is what Looker Studio is. There are two aspects of a Looker Studio. First is the data source. So where are you going to get the data for the charts and diagrams that you want to prepare here? And of course, you can create the report itself. Now, the beauty is that you can have data from multiple sources. So within one Looker Studio report, you can have data from 5, 6 Excel sheets, or maybe you can have data from one online SAP. I don't know whether SAP has given you the API, but if they have given you an API, you can combine SAP and Excel sheets and things like that, and you can present a visually appealing report in just one dashboard. Okay? So let's watch this quickly. I'm hoping that you guys will enjoy.
From scratch. Okay, now that we want to start creating our dashboard using data from Google Sheets, we are going to use this sample data where you can see here we have columns, and the columns are date format, it's also product, and this is a text format column, region, also text column, unit sold, which is a number, revenue, which is a currency, and customer satisfaction, that is going from 1 to.
By the way, guys, I hope you guys know the difference between metrics and dimensions. Sir, Dinesh ji,
Yes, sir.
difference between metrics and dimension.
Metrics and
Dimensions.
मैट्रिक्स तो एक रो से दूसरी रो का संबंध होता है और इसमें अनरिलेटेड भी हो सकता है फाइनेंशियली।
सर, metrics हो गए numbers.
जी।
So ये unit sold, revenue, customer satisfaction, these are metrics. Dimension is the alphanumeric, alpha one. So alphabets. So region, west, north, south, these are dimensions. So this difference is also important for us to note while we are creating dashboard and reports like this. So dimensions are the text and metrics are the numbers.
Yes.
To 5. And starting from this data right here, we can import our data here to Looker Studio. You can go here to create and then and select report. And this is how you start creating a report in Looker Studio or a dashboard.
Said, the moment you start a report, it will ask you to connect to a data source. Where do they fetch their data from? Now, these are the data sources that are very easily available. Of course, it's in the same Google environment. You've got your Google Sheets, you've got your Google document. You also have Excel sheets, so you can connect it with Microsoft Excel as well. You can upload files also if you wish to.
You can see all the data sources available for Looker Studio. Some of them are first party and other ones are third party, or you may wanna, which they might need a more complex setup, but still this is the easiest way to start importing data from your data source. And in this instance we're gonna use Google Sheets. If I click here on Google Sheets, it's gonna show me the way I have on my Google Drive, and these are some of the Google Sheet files that I've used recently.
Again, very similar to import, we get options like owned by me, shared with me, and or the URL. If they've shared a URL, you can very well use that to import.
So I'm gonna select the spreadsheet one, which that's the name of the spreadsheet we're gonna import data to. And here are some options to import the data. Honestly, this is something already as a preset, so it doesn't matter. You can start with add, and you can add to report. And here you will see we start with a table, which is.
So once you click on import, this table gets imported automatically by default. You can very well delete this table. You don't have to worry about it, and then you can start with your own data visualization. So I'll skip to this part a little bit.
Here's where you can start making changes to the visualizations that you have selected. Right now the table is selected and that's being counted as a visualization. But then we have here our data that we are importing from Google Sheets. From here we can start adding our visualizations. Let's delete this one. This is just a preview of our data. And you can go here to add a chart. And let's say we want donut chart to start seeing what's the percentages of each product. You can see here it already created a preset for the donut chart. And here is where we can set up all the data, the visualizations with the data that we want. And right now it's showing column product, and it's also showing the record count as how many of these categories are in the data. But record count is basically the amount of rows that have that amount of categories. So let's change it here to units sold instead of record count, and it's creating a sum. And you can see here it changed the numbers. Then we can make some other changes here to the visualization. We go here to style. We can start making changes.
So of course you can make changes to the style, but I'll just go back a little bit in the video. So you see this is something very interesting here. And this is add a filter. So you can add filters as well. So for example, in your data, you have got, you have got data from 3 companies or from 3 salesperson or from 3, stockists. So if I want to have data for each one of them and not combine data, I can add that filter. So I can add a filter and I can say, okay, show data for stockist 1, for stockist 2, or for stockist 3, and things like that. So this way, you are not just able to show entire data, but you are able to create various filters, and these are advanced filters, right? You can also have date-wise filters, things like that. So once you have created this advanced filter, you can very well easily show present data based on certain advanced segments that you wish to. So let's continue with the video.
Some other changes here to the visualization. We go here to style. We can start making changes to the visualization, but just on the outside. And I can add a title. It can be auto-generated depending on
the visualization part is very easy. You can change the colors, you can change the depth of this donut that you have in front of you and things like that. So let's jump ahead a little bit and let's try and add more data here. So imagine if we can get a donut like this. We can get a donut like this for all the expenses. For all the expenses. So imagine you're presenting a report which shows percentage of which expense, which head has sort of has got more expense there, percentage of expenses, things like that.
data that I've selected for this visualization. We can also change the font. We can also let's add another chart. I want to add.
So you can add another chart here. And you can add bars. You can also have line graphs. Time series as well. Time series is something which is very interesting.
Column chart. And I can select the column chart and I click wherever I want the column chart to be. And you can see here again, it uses as a default the categories for the products. Let's go again here on the visualization settings and I can select here the region, and from the region I can see how many units sold we have. And let's say I prefer to see what's the revenue, so I can drag and drop to metric and I can delete here units sold, and it's going to show the revenue. And then again, we have other settings here on the setup for the visualization. And if we go here to style, we can show the label, data labels. We can make the numbers compact if we need to. And we can also change the color of the visualization. But yeah, these are the types of things you can do here with this visualization specifically. And let's say I want to change this metric to show dollars. So I can go here to the metric edit. I can go here on data type, and it's not actually a number, it's actually a currency. So I'm gonna select USD dollars, and you can see here the visualization changed. And let's add one last control here, or chart, sorry. And we can select the scorecard. And let's say I want to see as a default it's selected units sold, but I actually want to see revenue. So I can drag and drop revenue from the list of the fields that I have on the data. And let's change this again to currency. And here's the currency. So one of the perks of creating dashboards or reports using Looker Studio is that every time these are visualizations more dynamic than Google Sheets actually allows. So let's say I want to filter by laptop. And this is as intuitive as clicking on here on the laptop, and you can see it already.
Sorry. So these are, of course, interactive charts. You can interact with them and you can understand a lot of things from there. Now imagine if we can create something similar. Uh, Imagine if we can create a similar dashboard where we have got expenses, revenue growth over the last few years, and at the top we can have a score chart. We can have we can have scorecards here of the various important numbers. So total revenue, total expense, or maybe EPS, EBITDA, things like that. So we can have various scorecard here. This simple one pager dashboard is something very effective, and the clients will value the effort that we have put in. So something as simple as this can help us a lot in making sure that our relationship with the client improves, right? Right. Uh, so yeah,
From scratch. Okay, now that we
that
want to
was
start creating our
sorry.
dashboard.
So that was one free pani puri, right? There's another pani puri here. So like I said, you can look at the ledger, define the rates of TDS based on ledger, and then apply that based on the ledger that has been selected from the drop down. So that is something that you can do very, very easily by using this array formula. Okay. So in one sheet, I can define, okay, these are the ledgers, and this is the percentage of TDS for each of the ledger. And then once I add this in the other sheet where the main data is, based on the drop down, you will get the TDS rates and TDS calculation done automatically. Right? Summarize trial balance. So this is the formula that you can use for summarize trial balance. Again, you will have this with you. So you can try and implement this with the GL dump and try and figure out that are you able to generate the trial balance or not. Thank you. Let's connect on LinkedIn. So this is as far as Google Sheets and little bit of Google Looker Studio. I would quickly want to take you through something which is called Sites, Google Sites. Now, Google Sites is very interesting. You can create an entire intranet for your office or for your clients out of Google Sites. Something called sites.google.com. Now, imagine we have created lots of documents that we would want the people to access, right? Um, I'll show you this example of mine. So very recently, I was president of a study circle based out of Eastern India. It's called VIPCA, VIPCA. We had our annual conference in March. So I created this. Let me view this. I created this intranet to coordinate with the event organizer, with the various committees, and also with the printers. Right. So I wanted to tell everyone, or same data has to be shared with everyone. So in this case, who you know who has who has got stalled for us, right? Um, and logo. So whose logo goes where, and who will have standee inside the conference hall. So all of these things I've made this, and all I needed to do instead of sharing it separately with everyone, all I needed to do was just share this URL with them, and they were able to access everything. Now I've told them, okay, now they knew, okay, the platinum will of course have a bigger logo, the gold will have slightly smaller, silver will have again smaller, and the folder. So where you can access the logos from. So once you click on this folder, you will go to a folder where you will have all the all the logos of the companies here. So I don't need to send them separately. And similarly, speaker details. Now here, look at this. I've been able to integrate a Google Sheets. Of course, we had our president, CS Nanda sir, who was the chief guest of the event. We were very proud and very happy to have him host him. In fact, it was his first conference that he attended once after attaining presidentship. Um, Big honor for us, of course. So, and he's a very popular man, eloquent speaker. So, the speech everyone enjoyed. So look at this. I was able to embed an Excel sheet, Google sheet here, and I don't need to tell anyone what to do. So someone who knows that they are responsible of something as simple as nameplates. All they need to do was look at the things here and they could figure out, okay, whose nameplates I need to make, right? Someone in the team wanted to know, okay, who's coordinating with whom. So I've got the coordinator here of who's speaking, who's coordinating with various speakers. And then the program schedule. Again, this is another Excel sheet that I was able to embed here. So similarly, we can create intranet for our offices, right? If I, and we can embed, not just embed, we can also link to various folders. So suppose I have created an intranet where I have got, uh, say I've got 5, 6 templates that I want people to follow. Suppose you create an intranet for Google Sheets, how to use Google Sheets, right? Or you have created a folder where you've got various resources for various things that you would need for Google Sheet, right? So how to create a trial balance? This is the formula. Maybe a sample Google Sheet which they should download before starting work on any audit. So all you need to do is very simply, access one of the templates here. I'm using one of the templates. There are various templates that are available here, right? And these templates are very easily customizable as well. So it's not like it's not difficult. But if you use a template, you'll have to stick to it. You can very easily customize it. So look at this. I've got this template. I want to customize it. So Google Sheets for audit, right? I type out anything. All the everything you need to work on Google Sheets while carrying out, say, bank audit assignments. Although no bank audits for this year, it's over, but maybe for next year, right? So you need to have your reconciliation format and all those things. I can change this, right? I can either embed things. Look, I've got an option to embed, or I can change it. I can add a drive link here. Say I've got this. I want to integrate this particular Dropbox here. Folder. So anyone with this link, they can be viewed. They can view the files. So look at this. I've added this. So they will be able to see the stuff here. I want to add a title. Again, very easy. I can insert a text box. Drag and drop, right? I can use this. I can drag it up here. I can add it. Sample files to or sample templates for various activities. Okay. If I want to embed a video, even that is possible for me. Okay. See YouTube video. Yeah, I go on. So let's take, for example, this particular. I will take this video, click on it, see this has got embedded. Okay. I can, of course, resize it. I can reposition it. Very simple drag and drop. And if I want to name this video, text box, click on text box, that's added. Of course, I need to drag it up a little. How to use these templates before starting your bank audit assignment. I can, of course, change the alignment, make it bold, italics, increase the size if I wish to, change the font if I wish to. So all of these things is possible. I can put my logo here. I can change this background image if I want to. I can very well change it. I can change it from a Google library or my own library. Let's go with this. Something as simple. I mean, as you can see, it is getting updated. Now, of course, I need to publish it before. I can just simply publish it like this, and this is the URL that we are going to get. So what Google Sites can help you to do is you can create multiple intranets for yourself. So you can have, suppose now because you are going to get articles every 2 years, you would want to create a training portal for your articles. That any new article that comes, let them spend 15 days to go through an entire training portal or training material, and they will be up to date with the latest requirements as per your firm's challenges, right? Right. So the problem is, or the advantage rather, is that you can use, you can create multiple portals. You can have a portal for your policies, for your HR policies. You can have portal for your, like I said, for your training of new articles. You can embed videos. You can also embed Google Forms. Now, Google Form is um, is a very strong tool. Let me try and show you a Google Form which I just created very recently as a sample. So you have a video in the Google Form. Yeah, there you go. Let me share my screens. So look at this. This is a sample form that I just created. Um, Now, what I have here is a video. People can watch this video and then they can take a quiz. So you know that okay, once someone has taken a watched a video and taken a quiz and they've answered it correctly, you would know that okay, they have understood the video properly. Now, of course, in this form, I'm not capturing the data forms, the data field, but I can very well add that. Now, Google Form is also something very easy to use. All I need to click to do is say I want to add, capture the personal data. Right? So all I will do is add a field, add a question. I'll say your name, right? And default is multiple, but I can have uh, 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 sorry, I'm not able to see. Yeah, short answer, right? And I can make it mandatory. So once you have this, you know that whatever who has taken this. I can copy this. I can shorten the URL. I can copy this, and I can also embed this in my Google sites. Right? If you open the response form, you can see this is how the form opens up, and I can just simply answer it here and click on submit. Saying this is Rahul, right? Click on submit. See, it will also show me my score. Also, view score. Oh, and quite incidentally, I got both the answers right. So it was very easy. Uh, I can add questions many times. I can within the description, I can insert a video. See, there is an option for me to insert a video, to insert an image, right? And I can also break it down into steps. So I can add sections. So once I add sections, it will break down into multiple steps, right? And I can add an answer key that A, it carries 1 point, and this is the right answer. So I can give the answer key as well. So look in this case, look the answer key. And hey, this question carries 1 point, can be 10, whatever, you know. And this was the right answer. So if I would have clicked on anyone, it would have returned the wrong answer. So you can also very easily create quiz on Google Forms. So Google Forms is very good. Again, you are able to collect data instead of asking your clients to provide you data in a certain format and then ask multiple questions from them. You can very simply create a Google form, give an option for them to upload files, and ask all the questions that you wish to. And remember, I told you that you can link it to Excel sheets. So, there is this option, responses. I can see what is the responses, who has got it right, who has got it wrong. If I want to see that, I can just simply click on link to sheets and it will create a sheet which is linked to this particular form. And I'll be able to see the answer. So yeah, this is how you can use the entire ecosystem to Google Workspace ecosystem to automate the work that you're doing and also to speed up the work that you're doing. So you are able to work effectively, efficiently, and more importantly, you are able to present yourself in front of the clients and in front of the peers that you are someone who's updated. And why not make use of best practices that are available in the market, best tools in the market to better our work, the better improve the quality of work, right? Like I said, cloud. This is the example of a cloud where you have got multiple options available, and cloud technology is quite different from regular hosting that you have had. Let's not get into it. It's maybe again another 10, 15 minutes. I'm not sure whether I have that amount of time with me or not. So yeah, so you're able to present yourself as a up-to-date chartered accountant for not just 2025, but for 2030. And please remember, hard work is, put your hard work in not just the work that you're actually doing, but into creating or setting up processes. And the moment you're able to do that, you'll be able to achieve good scale. That's it, sir. Thank you from my end. Any questions, I'll be happy to take questions. I think I've got another 7-8 minutes or so. So Dinesh ji, Sambit sir.
Thank you, sir. I have a question. What is the maximum size we can upload on Google Drive?
No, there is no. So it depends on the size that is available for you. So you can buy up to 10 PB, if I'm correct. So you can upload as many files as you wish to. The maximum, the heaviest file that I have uploaded was around 200 GB or something like that. I think it was a video file or something.
And what is security and privacy feature of this Google Sheet or Google documents?
So very secure, of course, sir. And I just mentioned that you can have multiple levels of user access permissions. So people who can just view the file, people who can comment on it, and then people who can edit it. So you can invite specific people to edit if you wish to, and then there are specific. You can't invite specific people to view it. In that case, you will have to create a publicly available or public view link. And with that, you will have to give them the permission of comment. And of course, it is Google. It's very secure. You don't have to worry about this drive getting hacked or anything like that. Sir, any more questions? Sir?
No, we may go for the vote of thanks.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
It has been such an honor to be a part of this wonderful webcast on form number to narrative, empowering chartered accountant with Google Sheet and site from Actionable Insight, organized by Professional Skill Investment Committee of ICI on behalf of the Professional Skill Investment Committee, ICI Nation. We would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our speakers, CA Rahulji Rauta, for his enlightening session. A wide round of applause and thanks to the organizer, Professional Investment Committee, ICI, our today's speakers, C. Rahul Gupta, and other stakeholders made the webcast a memorable one. Finally, we would like to thank all of you present here and helping us make this webcast a grand success. Thank you one and all. और जो आप पानी पता से एक साथ एक्स्ट्रा बहुत ज्यादा मजा क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ गोलगप्पा पानी पता सा और एक्स्ट्रा लेने की आदत है तो विजुअलाइजेशन और जिस सिंपल लैंग्वेज में आपने सब इलोबरेट किया है तो वाकई ये बहुत ही अच्छा सेशन था तो हम चाहेंगे आपसे ऐसे वो सेशन इस कमेटी
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Dinesh, sir. Thank you, Sambit, sir. And,
thank you, Sambit.
I request everyone to let's connect on LinkedIn. Thank you. Thank you, Saket. Thank you, sir.
With this, we conclude today's session. Thanks to all.
Thank you.